On one of our backpack trip, when we were in Kochi, we came across these fans, which were a part of a very old church, and this was such a core part of our memory of both of us when we were growing up, but we somehow took it for granted as a part of our memory, and we almost lost it. Like, you don't really, there was no intention to kind of revive it as growing up or as designer, starting off in our career. When we started with PAKHA, what was beautiful as a way of possibility is the facade that we see. The blade of the fan became a beautiful stage or canvas to portray different concepts which are almost like art, which are moving art, a more practical way of looking at. And it became quite an interesting conversation between us in the studio as to what can it be if not textile, because textile is the most go-to answer traditionally what we look at. But when we dive deeper with the Hath Pakhas, which were the hand fans, there were a lot of exploration with leaves, with certain materials which can basically resist wind, and the more the material is able to resist wind, the more we are able to generate the wind, because that is what is required. We are starting with 4 to 5 different sectors. We are working with a cluster from Mednipur, which is part of West Bengal, southern West Bengal, near Sundarban area, who work with this grass which can be woven into a mat, which works beautifully as well. It has a beautiful flow when the fan moves. We also have a leather sector from our own Andhra Pradesh, where the leather kind of creates this beautiful canvas as a piece of conversation, which also very interestingly does resist wind and creates a beautiful wind flow to our space. Similarly, we are working with brass, we are working with a lot of textiles, a lot of these different clusters, women-oriented approach, things which are humble, which are part of our everyday life, and how can that be put on such a big canvas, such a big conversation.
The PAKHA, although it looked simple when we started, did present its own complications. So the interesting bit was for us to crack how a machine can mimic human movement. Initially, it started with a very simple mechanical project where we wanted to see if we can use some very basic lever pulley systems to sort it out. But then as we kind of got deeper into the project, we realized that there are much more smaller nuances of feedback that need to be taken in. And that's where the whole mechatronics angle and the programming angle came about. As the product developed, the mechanism also matured into something where it can be fitted into smaller spaces. It can be fitted more far away from the main location of the fan, allowing it these strange flexibilities which otherwise are kind of unheard of. Like, for example, the fan, in theory, in this current situation, in the version it can be mounted in a garden, right? So the fan itself can be in the garden, and the motor and the machine can be housed somewhere in the house or somewhere in underneath a little bit of a projection in the architecture, and that allows you to get breeze where something is simply hung from maybe 2 tree branches, and that's the simple response that comes about. And it can also be retrofitted on spaces where you might not be able to hang a dynamic load on the ceiling, a lot of heritage spaces, because a lot of olden buildings were made for this fan. It's just that with history and time, we lost the Pankha coolies and the whole ecosystem it came about. People moved on to more important things rather than pulling a fan. In such spaces where you still need to revitalize that space, you still need to get the wind movement to happen, this Pankha kind of plugs in very easily with everything getting housed in some other location. There is a lot of collaborative angle to it. Different arts and crafts kind of come together where you have different artisans. You have the wood artisan having something in common with a weaver, having something in common with a metal welding person. And these are all technical things that come together to make the blade. And then you have a purely mechanical angle which is actually solving the machinery at the heart of the fan, and that comes together with a very different set of people. So you have these programmers coming in, you have these people who are doing purely mechanical engineering coming in, and the fun is over the project and over the process how this whole story kind of gets captured together into one single product.
What is interesting is how this product or this piece can start conversation at a very grassroots level, and how we're approaching it is how we can include a lot of these techniques of working with material and the material exploration aspect of it as a part of the blade as well. A great example is how we are working with the leather sector. We are working with a leather sector who works with leather puppetry. That's what they make. It's from the Andhra Pradesh Nimalakunte village. It's a very tiny village, and there's this few families who make leather puppets, and they do these shows during festivals or during occasions. And I think this piece, this product, is able to navigate those bridges beautifully. As to at a societal level, at a very grassroots level, it is able to make a puppet maker see beyond the use of the material he is using as just a puppet, and it can be something much bigger or something else altogether, and opens new avenues.
PAKHA itself holds a pretty special place because for a while since electricity came in, the fan has not been reinvented because it has always gotten faster, slimmer, tinier, just throwing air. But what this PAKHA allows you to do is to kind of go back into looking at it at a more sculptural level, because it is, although it does have the function and it is able to do what it always did, it is also adding this layer of presence. This allows us to kind of intersect it, kind of overlap it with a lot of craft and a lot of these other intangible things which can kind of occupy a canvas in a space. And that versatility is something which was very exciting. Today you can relook at the whole thing where the product is as beautiful as it is in stillness, as it is in movement. Something which, once its function is done, can it also look beautiful? That's the imagination, that's the part that you want to capture. And it becomes very versatile because it can adapt to different lens, it can adapt to different configurations, you can adapt different crafts, you can customize crafts to different areas, and it allows you to really put a very versatile canvas in the middle of a space and have a conversation with different stakeholders who were indigenous to those locations and give them a point of voice while making, a function truly valid.